Oh, we got a question here we need to answer from Liam. Liam says,
cool.
He says, do we find where we fit in, or do we build ourselves and our value in the world until we are sought after? That's a deep question, Liam.
Yeah,
that's
very difficult.
You know what? And this just goes off what I wanted to say, that I wanted, because this first initial podcast was supposed to be about what podcast is going to be about and what we believe it can be. And this is exactly what I saw. I saw us having these not just creative chats about the creative world, but creative chats means philosophical chats. It's all these chats about the world and the reality we live around us, and that fits in with our own creativity and the creative things around us. So I think questions like this is just so sick because I rambled on, I completely forgot the question. What was it? And because it was quite it was
do we find where we fit in?
Yo, hello, and welcome to CandlerCreative Chats. I'm Dan Candler, and this is the team. Oh, it's this side, and here's our podcast flames. Here's the team. Welcome to episode 3, guys. Episode 3. Kelvin Hewlett, who are you? That's what we're speaking about today. Over the next couple of weeks, we're looking into the podcast flames of the community, and we're seeing who we all are, so you guys get to know us and you can follow our journey. These chats are all about the creative world and all the amazing, unique individuals that reside within it. That's my little intro done. Let's go through the podcast flames, starting with, I think it's around here.
I think that was hello, everyone. I am Chris Barton. That was a really weird intro.
Mm-hmm.
I am a musical theater actor, screen actor, all-round thespian. I think I'm just going to say it that way from now on. And now, Sweet. This guy.
Oh, me. What was the word? It was like the fancy way of saying the freelancers. It was so nice.
The creative entrepreneur.
Yes.
Oh gosh, yeah, I forgot that.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna add that as well.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it again.
Yeah, I think I should probably start. I fluffed my intro up so bad that I just had no idea what was going on.
Well,
so
guys,
we are
great start.
Entrepreneurs, and that's who we are. I'm a singer-songwriter. I'm a martial artist. I'm an actor. I'm a voiceover artist. I'm whatever you want me to be.
Oh la la. And the main man of the hour, the person we're speaking about in today's podcast episode, the man himself, Kelvin Hewlett, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God, we should put like an applause there. Oh my God, Kelvin!
Oh gosh, I felt like that.
How you doing, bro?
I'm doing very good. I felt that sort of rocky feeling just kind of coming in. Here comes the man himself. He's rocking in. That's me. Oh my gosh, feeling very important right now.
That's it, man. I mean, because going back to Chris, I meant to ask you actually at the beginning of my intro. I had a whole bloody thing planned out of how I was gonna even start it, because I wanted to ask first, Chris, before we get started on you, Kelvin. How did you find last week? We kind of spoke a bit about it, but because obviously we're speaking about Kelvin today, but we were speaking about you last week, and you were on the spot. How did you find that?
Yeah, horrifying. The thing is, 45 minutes is like such a short time to span your entire life into, and I go off on tangents so often. I think you would ask me a question and I would go on about a 5 to 10 minute deviation before I came around to answering the question.
Yeah,
but that's part of life, right? It was fun though. Whatever naturally comes out. So I'm looking forward to the stories from Kelvin though. So I think
and that's
quite a lot of knowledge on that side.
So fully, I'm looking forward to this episode. I'm looking forward to hearing your live, Kelvin. So let's bring it back. let's bring it back on track.
All right.
I've already gone on a bloody detour, and it's only been 2 minutes. So Kelvin, let's do it. Like it's stated in the title, Kelvin Hewlett. Who are you?
Right. So it's only fitting to kind of start from the beginning. And I'm gonna try not to go on tangents like Chris, but to keep it simple, I am a Caribbean boy by heart. Like I'm quite similar to Chris. Like he said last week, I was born in Britain, in Aylesbury here in the UK, and I probably left here around the age of 4 or 5, maybe 3, 4. Could have been younger. I don't know. I was a little kid, but I grew up in an island called Antigua. Beautiful island, 365 beaches, one beach for every year. It's a beautiful place. The kind of guy I am, the child I was growing up, I'm a guy, or kid I should say, who spent time outside in the wild, so to speak. You know, there was lots of land where I lived in All Saints in Antigua. I lived on Hewlett's land. Hewlett is my last name. My uncle was a lawyer. He had his own land. And we had our own home where I lived with my parents. And my parents were not rich. They worked very, very hard. But as an adult now, I look back, we were rich in the sense of, my God, there was loads of fruits everywhere. And it's one thing I miss today. You could walk outside, pick whatever fruit you wanted, mangoes, coconuts, cane, where sugar comes from, guineps. I saw tamarind the other day when I was on set. They had tamarinds there. I was like, geez, is that tamarind? I haven't seen tamarind in ages. People don't know what some of these things are. You know, papayas, breadfruits, guava. So many fruits, man. I didn't even need to like go to the shops and stuff. My parents, brought food back home here and there, but survived a lot on just fruits and vegetables. And I think it's had an effect up to this day, because health-wise, I think, because the body feels quite nourished, still feels young, still feel like I'm kicking. So it was a very good upbringing, very, very good upbringing. But things went kind of downhill. I would say downhill, but it was a kind of a traumatic time in our life. My parents, when I was hitting the age of 12, going on 13, when I can't remember the name of this hurricane. The hurricane came to Antigua and blew away the entire house. And to keep a long story short, this is what I can remember. We were in a home, just moving to this home. Hurricanes coming. You board up as normal. It's exciting time. Hurricane, winds are going to be blowing, etc. And my brother and I wake up, and there's water all over the floor. And the first thing we do is we panic, because we're like, oh my gosh, where's the PlayStation in Genesis? We had to make sure that was okay. We're like, okay, it's fine. Where's everyone else? And my brother, sister, mother and father, they're all cuddled up in this room. And we're like, why didn't you guys wake us up? They said, you guys look so peaceful. We didn't want to disturb you. I mean, when you looked out the window, there was things flying everywhere. And half of the house was blowing away. So they were just waiting for the hurricane to pass till we get to the eye. Because when you get to the eye of the hurricane, everything sort of is very, very still. But you have about an hour or so, depending on how fast the hurricane is moving, to kind of get out from wherever you are. Otherwise, if it catches you, you're gone. You're dead. We moved from homes within that hour, and we survived. When the hurricane was gone, the whole house was gone. So good thing we got out of that one. And then from there, yeah, go on.
No, I was going to say it's just crazy. Like even just that when you said about like when the hurricane was happening, you thought about your Xbox or whatever, the console or whatever it was. Just to think of the child's reality in that instant.
Yes,
you know what I mean. Like there's the adult going like, okay, right, so like we need to not die now, and there's you. And then there's you just going, oh my God, I need my console, even though it's probably fucked. And it's just crazy.
Also,
sorry, carry on. It just
the ultimate Hamilton startup right there, bro. That was like eye for eye, exactly. Like in the eye of a hurricane, there is quiet. Like
oh yeah,
literally Kelvin's The Hamilton man.
But
Sorry, keep going.
after that, we moved to Tortola in the British Virgin Islands, which suffered another big hurricane. I wasn't there for that one. My family were there, but they survived. We always survive hurricanes, guys. That's what life is. But Tortola is where the base of where everything started for me, because I had a lot of interest in martial arts and singing. Let me backtrack a little bit. I wasn't so interested in martial arts. I became interested in martial arts when I moved to the BVI, because I had a bad experience, and then found a really good school. Shout out to Purple Dragon down to Chiru from Trinidad. It is an amazing school, one of the top ones in the world. I rate it 100%. And I ended up doing a lot of singing back in those days, because I remember Chris last week was asking us, do you guys have curricular activities such as drama school in your school? I didn't. What we had was choirs. You were either in the choir or the musical band where they would play instruments. So every year there'll be concerts and just singing, or you're in the band. And there's sometimes we would collaborate and do things together. But I never did musical theater. As a matter of fact, I didn't know what it was. Didn't even know it existed. And when I graduated from high school and started to work for the government, I did a lot of singing from church to church. I was a big church goer. I'm still a believer up to this day, but I worship a little bit differently now.
Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
What you said you worked in the government?
Yes. I actually worked in the department for healthcare. So I was sort of like a data analyst, data entry
That comes
clerk.
from that fruit. That comes all from that fruit, bro.
Yeah. I was a data entry clerk, and I kind of stepped my way up from there. I was entering data for all the sicknesses that will come through the island. Any disease, anything anyone had to be recorded. That was my job. I had it all put into the database and kept it up to date. And then from there, because I worked so fast and computers were kind of like nothing back then, entering data, it was nothing for me then. I kind of started to assist other people around in the department, and I became assistant for director of primary health care. And then that job didn't seem that challenging because I was able to just pick up things and still help around the office. I was actually assistant director of primary health care and the director of health services. Now, every country.
How old are you at this point?
I am at this point. I was early 20s. I was 20. No. I was around 19 years old.
Wow, man. That's
Yeah, I was around 19.
that must have like projectiled your like maturity, being in that kind of
environment.
That kind of environment, and having those responsibilities must have really just given you a head start in that sense.
I tell you what, it was a big responsibility, but I never felt that pressure. And I have to give credits to my father and my mother, because a lot of my maturity definitely came from them. And it was kind of embedded in me as well. I was a lot different from my brothers and sisters. I was more quiet, kept to myself, tried to stay out of trouble. But my father was big on positivity. He did network marketing back then, which when I got to the age of 16, I did with him as well. And it required to read a lot of books, go to a lot of seminars, functions, do business from that age when I was 16 years old, learn how to speak and communicate and talk to people. And there was sales involved as well. But it was all about to build the business. It was mostly all about self-development. That was the key thing. So I spent a lot of time on self-development, and it was a lot easier, I have to say, compared to now. It's a lot easier back then. There was less distractions. No responsibilities, no distractions. Focused, 100%. And life, I find when challenges happen to you in life. By the way, I'm a father now, and I have a daughter who's 10 years old, separated from my ex-partner. But these kind of things create challenges in your life and distract you. And you have to find ways to focus your energy in the right direction and take care of all your responsibilities at the same time.
But then
And as a
also,
man, yeah.
when you were saying like at 19, you were doing all of these things. Like Dan was saying, like you just like had to be responsible. But
Hmm.
then, like from my experience, and I think a lot of people are on the same boat. When you're 19, you're so irresponsible. So
Oh,
you had to like steer that boat from a very young age. So like I'm
mm.
guessing you're a very good father.
Mm.
I try my best. Some feel differently, but in
No,
my
no.
eyes, in my eyes, I've done everything in my power to be the best that I can be. I've looked after my daughter from the time she was young. I was there every step of the way. The only break I ever had was COVID, which was a tragedy for me. COVID, it affected a lot of people. I was one of them. Didn't have much work. Had to go and find other work. Lost home. Had to do shared accommodation for up to 2 years. I'm finally in my own place now, as you can see.
Yeah,
Which
man.
which
Yeah.
was November last year, and the struggle wasn't nice, and it was a burden not just on myself, but also on the ex-partner as well, because I wasn't there able to be around as much as I've been. I've always been a hands-on dad, 100%. And it's good to be back in that position again. To have a place where my daughter can come, call home, I can look after her, take care of her. I love
Feel
that
that, and
stuff,
you can
man.
feel that energy as well. I mean, I don't know if the listeners or the people watching and stuff watch your streaming, which you should, guys. Everyone watching and listening, head over to Kelvin's YouTube, and are you on Spotify and that as well, or is it just what are the
I,
platforms you're on?
I just started a podcast, which is mostly for my father and I. I
Mm.
do sports Thursdays, and my father is quite knowledgeable in sports, so I did my podcast at the moment is mostly on sports,
Mm.
which is on Spotify. It's easy to find. Kelvin Hewlett. There's only one in the world, by the way,
But
so you
but this
can't
is what
miss
I'm
him.
saying, like, and
Mm,
that's why I mentioned that is because you can see it now from those live streams and
mm,
from our encounters, the energy and the drive that you have now. You have your space and your
mm,
fight, and you're seeing that comfortableness, with the where you're living and in
mm,
your life, and I can see that drive and I feel that energy, and it's powerful, bro. It inspires me, and I know it's going to definitely inspire other people, which is dope.
I appreciate that, bro. But the one thing I try not to do now is get comfortable. I think it's a mistake.
Yeah. Mm,
I think if you're comfortable, then that's fine, but that's as far as you're gonna go. It's that the
mm,
mind shift has been crazy since January this year when I kicked into
mm,
gear. I love movies. I love sitting down watching my anime. I love after a long day's work to go and watch TV, watch a show. I haven't done any of that in the last 4 weeks. It's been crazy. Apart from going to the cinema with my sister and a friend, we went to go see Megan. um, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to watch TV or anything again. These are things that I love. I'm in the arts, which I'm going to get to in a minute, of how I ended up
mm,
doing musical theater. But they are distractions at the end of the day from achieving your goal. And the reason why I say they are distractions because I want to sit down and comfortably watch all my anime and TV when I am financially in the place that I want to be, or I've built something that is continuous and stable, and I can support my daughter, etc.
mm,
So this is very important to me now, building something. And when you came along with Candler Creative, it wasn't that called that back then, but when we met on set then, and you were speaking of these things and the community, I knew my schedule was hectic, but I knew what you were talking about. That was something I'd like to be a part of. I said, put my name down. Yeah, yeah,
mm.
I'll be there. Just let me know when. Let
Yeah,
me know
man. I
where.
think I'm pretty sure that was like the first when we met. It was like the first week or something that I even thought about the community. Or in fact, it
Mm.
wasn't even the community back then. It was the NFT project I wanted to do.
Yes.
And now the whole NFTs have kind of like they're still in mind. I still want to kind of dive into it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's gone from that, which I believe for my personal self, if I'm being true and honest to myself, was probably an ego thing and
Mm.
something I was thinking could maybe benefit me, and get my finances up and all this.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I dived into it, that's when the community kind of side of it kind of popping up, and NFTs kind of started going away, and it was all more. I then realized it wasn't about me. It was about the creative world and the creative people. Sorry, I didn't mean to go on a tangent more about myself.
No.
But yeah,
you're part of the story, bro.
yeah, exactly. We're all part of the story, man. We're all part of the story and this journey, which is really exciting. We went on a few different tangents there, and I loved it. I love these tangents, but let's get back on track of who you are.
Yeah. So I'd like to I'd like to get to how Kelvin ended up in the UK, and it's very, very interesting because, like I said, I was working for the government, and as I was working for Director of Primary Health Services and then the Director of Healthcare and then Health Services, I then moved on to become the Assistant for the Director of the Mental Health Unit. And so I was assisting the director and organizing their database, making sure all the client database was intact and getting whatever the director needed back then. And I was doing very good. I think back then I was making up to $30K a year, and that was dollars, $30 to $35,000 a year. And so for me, that was little money back then. We're talking 2002, what have you, I think around that time. So you can imagine my shock when I came to the UK and they threw salary at me. I was like, what are you offering me here? This is not money. But what drove me to come to the UK was a phone call. The only reason why I'm here is because of one phone call. My whole family moved to the UK when I was in the BPI, because my sister got pregnant, so they said the child had to be born in the UK, so they came over to the UK because she was British as well, so they came over here, and the whole family decided to relocate. I refused to come to the UK. I was like, I'm not going there, because I was there previously before. I didn't like it, so I was like, I'm not coming back. But I have an older brother who later on in life I realized I'm very, very close to, he was just there, and we were always cool, but I got a phone call saying, your brother nearly committed suicide. From my mom. She said, your brother nearly committed suicide. To find out years down the road, that was not true. That was her interpretation of it. He was doing something crazy. Just to put more context to the story, my brother came to the UK and then became a drug addict, so it's a very sad story with him. And he's been on drugs ever since, and he's been in prison ever since, and he's just hasn't really caught himself. So I wasn't aware of his downfall, but I was hearing things, and then I heard, oh, he's nearly killed himself. And that's
typical. Crazy, man. Sorry, I didn't even know you had a brother. Like that's that's mental.
5 siblings.
Whoa.
5 siblings. Yeah, 2 brothers. Oh, I'm sorry, no, it's 3 brothers now. 3 brothers and 2 sisters. Yeah, my mom had an extra one later on in her 40s. That's another story.
Wow. So are you right in the middle somewhere?
I'm the second, aka the first now.
So.
I think my mother was like 45, 47 when she had the last one. Yeah, my mom still thinks she can have babies, so she would have another one if she can.
Keep those Hewletts coming.
Yeah, they keep coming, boy. I'm telling you.
Sorry, Kelvin. Sorry, Kelvin. So you were speaking about your brother.
Yes.
And that phone call.
Yes. That phone call. Typical Kelvin. Back then, I'm a bit more cautious now, but I said, okay, I'm coming. Hung up the phone, went to work, went to my boss and just let you know I am handing in my resignation, I am leaving. And then Dr. Samuels was her name. She looked at me, she went, this was like in the office. She said, Kelvin, come to the office, come to my office, come. And then she goes, what's happened? Why are you just leaving? I said, no, nothing to do with you. I got a phone call. My brother's nearly committed suicide. I think I need to be in England with my family. And she just told me very plain and simple that I can, help my brother from here. She doesn't think me going to the UK is going to benefit. And she said, if you leave here, you'll never be able to work here again. I said, I understand, I'm going. Handed in my notice. A month later, I was down in the UK. Yeah, my brother was a lost case. There's nothing I can do. And Dr. Samuels was right. Should have said. But I still love my brother to this day. And as crazy as he sounds to some people, he makes some sense to me. I can kind of see where his brain is coming. It's because of the way the world is. The world isn't very straightforward, and there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes, and that's where his brain sort of ticks. You know, he doesn't look at it very straightforward. So when you're having a discussion with him, if you're going to debunk his arguments based on what you see for face value, he doesn't want to hear anything you have to say, because you don't even know what the truth is, and that's the way his brain ticks. Because
which has some truth to it in some sense. It's just sometimes our reality and our brain just, you know, it just doesn't, it can't understand or can't just get the right middle ground, you know, like it can't. Yeah, I can't remember where I was going to go with that. I kind of lost it, but yeah, I think that's important for people as well to do exactly what you have just kind of explained with your brother. You could easily shrug him aside, and you could easily kind of just not really have that, you know, the stuff that you know, not really have that in your brain. But I think what is important is to have that awareness of yourself and looking at other people and yourself from an outside perspective, and going, okay, cool, right, so they're doing this one thing, and they're let's just say, for instance, they're attacking me. Why are they attacking me? What is their reasoning? What's happened in their previous lives and all this? Like, there's something there. There's something embedded in that. And I think if we all have that kind of compassion towards more people, I think that, you know, yeah, we can make things a lot better place. But sorry, yeah, carry on.
I agree. So, long story short, I left the BVI, came to the UK. And like I said, there's not much I can do. I found that here. But when I came here, I said, okay, I got to start over. I came here with no money in my pocket, by the way. I don't know why I keep doing this. £0, $0, nothing. I come and starting from scratch. And I was living with my parents because they had a home, etc. And I decided I want to do something, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. And there was no job in the world I wanted to do. I had a nice job back at home, but now there's no career I want to pursue. And because I sang a lot and I picked up dancing, I said to my mom, what can I do that has singing or dancing in it? Something along those lines. She said, oh, you could do performing arts. Okay. And believe it or not, guys, this was in my early 20s, 22, 23, however old I was then. I had no idea what performing arts was. So I got in, I brought my keyboard with me, had to audition, brought my keyboard, very innocent, I had a keyboard, brought my keyboard, played one of my original songs for the teacher. He probably thought, what the hell is going on here? I don't know what was going through his mind. But I sang an original song. He gave me something to kind of act to. I did my thing, and then they went, yeah, you can join the course. Gave me a spot there. And throughout that first year in performing arts, I was slowly beginning to learn what musical theatre was, because it was a musical theatre performing arts class, basically musical theatre. And I had no idea. And the more they tried to describe it to me, they said, explain to me. I said, okay, yeah. They said, you know what, you need to see. So there was a school trip where we were going to see Chicago at the West End. I didn't know what Chicago was my first time going, and went to the West End, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. People are singing and dancing at the same time, and acting. I was like, this is crazy. And it was so well done. I just thought, wow, this is amazing. And I told the teacher when I got back, I said, yep, I can do this. I said, yeah, now I understand what musical theater was. I was like, yeah, I can do this. I want to do this. So yeah, that pumped me up to really work hard at the course. And because I was older than everyone else was around 16, whatever my teacher was an ex-student of the Guildford School of Acting. and he said, I know some people down there. I was like, I don't know what that was. And he was like, oh, it was a big school, and people like to rate certain schools. And for me, I still have the habit today. I'm just like, okay, yeah, just let me know what I need to do. If there's a celebrity or something, I don't really care. It's not a disrespect. It's just that I don't have that excitement because I didn't grow up around knowing, being so knowledgeable and understanding what things are, to the point where I'm so amazed. Wow. I'm just like, what's the goal? What's the mission? Okay, boom, let's go. So my teacher said, I can get you an audition. He said, you won't get in, but it will help you to understand what you need to do, and after pursuing something like this. I said, okay, no problem. He trained me up and prepared me, and I just went in with the attitude, do your best. He already said I'm not going to get in, so that's fine. I have 2 years to do here anyways, so auditioned. Took it very seriously, and after the audition, the guy that came to audition the second years plus myself, he said, I'd like to give him a spot to come to a real audition. So none of the second years got a spot, but I did. And everybody was like, whoa, Kelvin. And then my teacher came to me and said, okay, yeah, that's great. He said, listen, Kelvin, I don't want you to get too excited. You're not going to get into the school. But he just saw something, and we really worked hard on this. So, that really good job. Don't get your hopes up. It's very, very difficult to get in there. But, but good job. I was like, okay, cool. I literally didn't care. My focus was performing arts, do the 2 years, that's it. I get an opportunity to go and do this thing. I said, okay, no problem. Prepared, went to this audition, and I would never forget it, boy. I went down there, fully prepared for my songs, didn't have a care in the world. My teacher said I'm not getting in, so there was nothing to worry about. I just sang the song the best that I could with no stress. Then we had to do a dance section. I had no idea what ballet, tap, jazz, any of that stuff was. And when the teacher started showing routines, I just went, you have that panic moment where you're like, oh crap. And it went from oh crap to, hold on, I'm not getting in anyways. So I was just like, I want to have fun with this. I was going to put my best foot forward. So I was like, just had a lot of energy and was smiling. I was like, oh, I messed up. That's fine. Show me again. Yeah, I can get that. So I had a really perky attitude, And then after all of that, after all of that, you had to do an audition with Peter Barlow, who was the principal at the time. Director for Guildford School of Acting, and I remember that meeting with him. I sat down with him and didn't have a care in the world. I just told him my life story like how I'm telling you now. Just had a nice general chat, and he didn't ask me much about anything relating to musical theater. Just asked me about me. So I was like, easy peasy. So I was just like, yeah, we talk all day. In my mind, I'm like, I'm not getting in because I already know I'm in a 2-year performing arts course. And after that, I cracked on, left there, didn't even think about GSA because that wasn't even an option. And a letter comes through the door. My mom picks it up. That's for you, Kelvin, from GSA. I was like, seriously? I said, oh, this must be the oh, I'm sorry letter. So I said, okay, let's open this. And I open it, and it says, you've been accepted for a place. I said, are they serious? It's got to be a joke.
That's so sick.
I'm like, okay. So I had to finish a 2-year course in 1 year.
What?
Oh gosh, that was something else. I was excited. I was stoked. I was like, well, I'm pursuing my dream. I said I wanted to do musical theater.
So musical theater. You dived into musical theater. So, like, just for the audience and everyone, because I know you now. But are you in musical theater now? Let's go from then, and then let's look at now, because
now I'm not in musical theater. When I graduated from GSA, and I had a fantastic third year. 2 years of hell, you can imagine. Third year was really, really amazing because some of the talented students, some of them left because they got jobs, and I got the opportunity to perform in some really good shows. Love the Life Parade, that has a very close spot in my heart. I played two characters in there, Jim Connolly and Newt Lee. It's a musical about racism based on a true story, and the death of a young lady, and racism between the Jews and the blacks, and it was amazing. And from there, went off to America in 2010. I actually performed in California, did Peter Pan, 25th anniversary Spelling Bee. That was so amazing. So much talent up there. I still keep in contact with some of those guys. Oh, Full Monty. That's another whole long story. I didn't know what Full Monty was, by the way. So that was funny. and I had to go and perform in that. Yeah, we had to strip. Let's not talk about that.
That reminds me of a story I've got as well. So like that, I got asked to do kind of the same thing, and I'll explain this on my thing, but this is all about you. Go.
But today I'm not doing musical theater. In between 2010 and 2012, I was in a relationship. And I'm a very dedicated person, and I made a mental decision to choose one or the other. I chose a relationship because it was my first proper relationship. I was very focused, young, coming up. I didn't have loads of girlfriends. I can count on one hand. I had about one girlfriend, I think. And then my ex came along, and I made the decision because I thought that this wouldn't work. Me doing what I was doing, plus maintaining a relationship. I personally made a decision in my head that it's not going to work out now. So I can do a little bit on the side, but I need to find something else to do. And then we ended up having a baby. And from there, I really dived into different areas of work. So yeah, that took a back seat. And a lot of things has happened from 2012 up until now. A lot of changes. I remember 2018 I was homeless, and then had to get a home again, and then got my first home again back in May, after breaking up from a relationship from 2010 up to 2017, and got my own place in 2018. Things were going great. I was working for a catering company. Prior to the catering company, I was managing a restaurant. Prior to managing the restaurant, I was working for a clothing company, Team Tops it was called, and that was dealing with their admin, doing accounts, many different hats within these companies. So I've had the opportunity to learn many skills along the years, mostly management, because when I had my daughter, I was working in a nightclub, and that's where I spent most of my time. We had some drama around that time as well. Things got muddy, but I always stuck in because I was a father now. I had a daughter, and I needed to make the right decisions. I need to be there for my family. So life became more about my family rather than my own personal needs,
Yeah. But it almost seems like in that time, though, like throughout that time, it was important for like the family side of things was important, but throughout that time you were also almost, and this is just me, just observing, and it seems like through that time you were doing all these different things. And I say this because it's almost similar to myself. You were doing all these different things, things that you kind of went back to your, like, before you were in the UK, like those kind of analytical kind of things, and and different kind of sectors to trying to find your place again, back into your creativity, and now you're here in your full creative freedom of the things you want to do, with your streaming and your dance and and all of that, so it's like and even just listening to your story, even when you said about that phone call changed everything. It's crazy how that really did, like that one phone call like brought you on this creative path.
And I promise you, if I didn't get that phone call, there was no way I was leaving the BVI. Not a chance.
It's just crazy how one single moment can change a life, and we
Uh,
forget that sometimes. We
mhm.
forget that sometimes.
Mhm. But I've been I've
Um,
been I've been blessed along the way. Oh, guys, you might hear doorbell rings. If that doorbell rings, that's my daughter arriving, who I need to collect. So
yeah.
just
that's
pre-warning. It's coming to
that's
that time.
that's no worries. We've kind of smashed it out.
Um,
We've
Mm,
smashed it out. We've got a couple more. Obviously, I want to get to this point of your journey. It's
mhm.
we've got maybe 5-10 minutes left, because like we said, we
Yes.
want to get this to a time scale.
Mhm.
But your journey, even what we've been speaking about, so what you've said so far is just it just sounds incredible. And you've been through so many different things in your life, and you can I can see it now. Your wisdom and your honesty, and just your character, your energy that you give off. It's just so humbling, and stuff. So yeah, and I now see why, because you've gone through all these different things throughout your life to get to this point, and it's incredible.
I'm enjoying every moment of it, the good and the bad, because there's lots
Mm.
to learn, and I'm still growing, as you know. And it's not the end of the door for me. I'm still in film. I took up extra work since 2014. I dabbled in and out of it, but since the pandemic, 2021 is when I sort of just stuck with just doing extra work, and now that's led me to streaming and now doing podcasting with yourself. The streaming is not a money maker, but it will be. Remember, I said that it will be a money maker because I'm putting the time and the effort now, and it will lead to something. So I don't need to be the biggest actor in the world or have the biggest jobs, mainstream or what have you. But something will come from this. And
You just need to be you.
yeah, yeah. I just need to keep pushing and keep trying. And that is something I made a promise to myself. December 2022. I'm not gonna stop trying. I'm gonna stop doing. I don't need to do the heaviest lifts in the gym because I train a lot right now. What I need to do is be consistent and just keep going.
Yeah.
You
Mm.
know, and that's what. If you check my TikTok, that's what the push-ups are all about. On my TikTok, I do. I have to do them today.
Yeah, I've seen that. What
I
day are
d-
you on?
I'm on day 7 now. I think day 7 or day 8, and I have 18 push-ups to do today. So I'm
All
doing
right.
one extra push-up every day, and I'm interested to see what number I get up to.
One Punch Man.
One punch man.
one punch.
You
I
know,
tell you what, I'm
100,
listening and watching
100 is
those
gonna be the
shows.
hard one.
Yeah. Oh,
So
fantastic.
it's been a fantastic on journey. And to all my friends out there, if you are listening and you haven't seen me, I do apologize. I've been busy. I've been
And we
busy.
see that, bro. And we
I,
see that.
I'm staying
Um,
focused. Staying
mm,
focused. The key is I want a life for myself and my daughter. It's
mm.
very very important to me, and I can run around and hustle and do jobs and all this sort of stuff and have her here and all this. But now I'm thinking I want to leave something behind for her, and I want to build something that I
A
can pass
legacy.
on. Yeah, something that she can look up to and respect.
Mm,
Even
Mm.
just the work ethic,
mm,
like you know, even if it's just a work ethic that you leave behind,
Mhm.
like you've set that precedent now for this year and what you've gone through. Yeah, you're already leaving behind some pretty dope stuff, man.
mm.
Appreciate.
Yeah, man. Inspirational. Inspirational.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
thanks so much, Kelvin. I know your doorbell's gonna ring soon, so
I'm like in anticipation. I'm just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
where is it?
So we'll end it there.
Mm.
It was an awesome story. Thanks so much for being with you. Thank you so much for your honesty
Mm.
and your story. We're, like we said last week, this is not the end of learning about the podcast flames. This is a journey, this podcast, and people out there who are watching or who are listening on all the podcast streaming platforms. You're going to learn about who we are and our journeys, I'm excited, and I'm excited for that journey. But this has been a great episode, guys, and I think it went. Oh, here's the.
I think we can leave it just in case I have to leave. Let's leave it open to some questions, or maybe we can have a
Yeah,
little
like
chat about what we
Yeah.
thought we just heard, so that because we've got like 15 minutes, so
Yeah. Great.
Number one is,
or is everyone just in shock? What the hell did I
What the
just-
hell? I mean, yeah. Like, if anyone does have any questions about it, I was going to leave it there because it was getting close to it was 1:45.
Okay.
But if anyone did have any questions, like any of you guys or anyone watching or listening or anything, then feel free to shout them out. But yeah.
Yo, Kelvin.
Yeah.
I think I'm actually wearing a GSA T-shirt today.
Oh my gosh.
That is completely unplanned. I was just like, wait, I know I have a GSA T-shirt somewhere. I was like, oh yeah. Do you know Jerry Tebbett, by the way?
Yes, I know Jerry. He's who did Parade with me.
Yeah, bro.
He was the director.
I think I saw a photo of you at GSA with him somewhere, or like you had mentioned it, and I was like, wow, small world. Because I also he is one of the people who when I first sort of visited here, I came sort of I came with family, and then I came by myself at one point, and I did a summer course at GSA.
Wow.
Just to like dabble, and he's like good family friends with like my father and mother, I think. And like I stayed with him for a while, and he's just such a him and his wife Jill are just such such brilliant people.
He's a really good man, really good man. I like Jerry.
Yeah. Shout out Jerry.
Jerry Tebbett. The GSA lot are really good lot. They are good.
GSA is very good school.
Yeah, it just shows like there's such a small world, but the creative world is almost even smaller. This, the acting and dance world.
Everyone has a connection.
Everyone has a connection somewhere to someone.
It's even just such a brilliant mentality to have, though, what you did going into that audition. Like, it's such a brilliant mindset to have, I think, in general. But as an actor or like a creative, it's I've listened to so many people saying, oh, I don't see rejections or auditions as like a negative anymore. I just see it as another opportunity to act.
Yes.
Like I just see it as another opportunity for me to like I get a free shot at something.
Yes.
And it completely switches the mentality from like I'm trying to I'm dropping 115% right now.
Yes.
And they will see that difference too. Yeah, clearly they saw that for you, man.
Yeah.
The honesty,
just like, you know what? Like I got this shot that I didn't have before. Like why not? May as well give it the best.
Yeah. It's just I think it goes off for everything really. It's like
everything, yeah.
Every successful thing, there's usually like that, people respect you more when you're honest and you're authentic.
Yes.
And yet we still put upon ourselves this idea that we have to be something else, and we have an anxiety towards being ourselves, and it's But on that note, Balthazar, did you have anything else to say? What's either to Kelvin or just in general, or just?
I was just processing everything that we were just saying. I was like thinking internally, like, oh yeah. I don't think if I mentioned it like last episode that I was on this Q&A with our casting director, and he said exactly what you just said, Chris. He said like you should take the opportunity to act and not think about getting it or the role or not. It's about the fact that they called you to be there. That's already a lot. And also many times maybe you don't get the role, but then you impress them, and maybe they call you back for another character. Or maybe even also like if you see whatever it is, if you see it later, like maybe you see someone, it's like, oh no, that person is better than I could have done to that character, right?
Yeah.
So it's way more complex than just our ego saying like, I'm gonna get it. It's just me, and I'm gonna get it. We all need the money, but
yeah. It's a weird environment to be in though, because you're being asked to do like to perform and like put on something that's so unique, and they're asking you for something specific, but they also want something that's very you. And I feel like a lot of the time people don't realize that because they'll ask so many questions. And I've been around like in an audition room and other people have just been bombarding the person who's supposed to be at the door to let us in. And they're just like, oh, so like, is the character more this? And the person is like, man, just do what you want to, make it yours, you know? And people will just be like, yeah, but like if the character is this, is his emotional influence that, which I think is good, but it's also like, you know, a lot of the time you need to just kind of throw the constant questioning away, and it's just, you know, give a natural bit of you and what you feel that audition should be, you know.
No,
just
fully. I found myself getting more success within auditions and castings when the idea that was my profession came out of my head. So like, for instance, obviously I'll explain when we have like my episode or whatever, but you know, like I started off being a dancer, and I was in a contemporary company, and I left it, and I did more photography and stuff like this, and the idea of auditioning was outside of my head. It was outside of my premise. I didn't really think about it anymore. I'm not really auditioning anymore, whatever. Something comes up, which is like, if it's a really random thing, I kind of went with the same idea as kind of Kelvin. I kind of went in, was like, oh, like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna see what happens. It's not my thing anymore. So cool. And I found I was starting to get more success because I'd rock up and like, yo, how's it going, guys? Like my normal self, like, yo, and I was just being me. And I remember very vividly this one audition, which was like a SPACT agency audition, and I rocked up in my usual like self, like, hey, how's it doing? I like went up to the panel. I didn't go up to the panel for the whole thing of like, oh, you have to say hello and like, oh my god, like this is me. I was like, just went up to them because I went up to every single person in the room and did that. And I went up to like, oh, how's it going? And they gave us this one task that we had to do a sword fight scene or something.
Just to clarify for viewers what SPACT is, though.
Yeah.
Balthazar said it last time, but
so Balthazar said it last time, but just for the viewers and for the listeners, SPACT is a special action artist.
Special action artist.
So it's for TV, film, and all of that. So you'll find them that might be. It's basically like a like just below, like I guess below stunts, right?
It's like stunts.
Yeah, something in the middle.
Essays,
as
and
an
SPACs
essay
are like-
supporting artist / extra.
Yeah.
In the background.
Yeah.
You're like living furniture, literally. But then if you cannot be a stand because you need to do a lot of stuff to get certified as a stand, then you also could be like, I don't know, like you are really good at juggling, or like you're good at doing the BMX.
Really specific stuff, kind of.
Like
specific stuff. So in this case, we're talking about like a fighting stuff. Correct?
Yeah.
So when you have skills, you can do that, like something in between being an extra and a stand.
Exactly. Thanks, Balthazar. You say it so much more eloquently than me. But yeah, so I was doing that audition, and I remember vividly that everyone was like, kind of like this thing, like, I have to do this right. I have to do this in a particular way that they exactly as they said. And I was with my partner, and we were doing the same kind of thing as everyone else. And then I was like, yo, bro, should we just like mix things up? Like, stuff it, man. Like, let's just pretend we're drunk. Like, let's just like let's like you can pretend you're pissed or something, or like whatever. And then we came up with this whole like start thing, and it was just us messing around. At that time, I wasn't even thinking of like, oh, cool, I got to get this choreo right and all this. I was like, oh, let's just piss about and just do this, and like, and they loved it like even more, like, you know what I mean? And it was so natural, and we fluffed up a little bit, but they appreciated just the extra energy that you were putting in, and the passion that you were putting in, and the honesty, and so
it really does show. It really does show.
It really does show. So yeah, if there's any advice that I guess that all of us can give out there to people starting out or going on this journey, like, be yourselves, guys. Be yourselves.
Yeah,
And,
I would say that 100%. It's worked for me most of my life,
Mm.
and the
Yeah.
times when I'm trying to portray another individual, it just doesn't go well. But even when it doesn't go well, you feel good, like I was me.
Yeah. But there is so much anxiety towards that. I mean, I'm speaking personally. It's taken me a long time to kind of, and I'm still on that journey. But yeah, just make that push and drive yourself to be the person you are, and you know. So yeah, that was a little bit of a longer episode, but one of the reason why I like I love these lives, and I love what we're doing is you know, this authentic, honest kind of path, this journey that we're taking, and just trying to put ourselves out there. I just it just drives me. I don't know about you guys, and we can have a time scale, we can have this, but when you're in the energy and you're in that vibe of what we're doing in the conversation, I think it's only natural to carry on that and just go with it. And yeah, so but this episode has been cool, guys. I've really enjoyed speaking to you all, and Kelvin, I've loved hearing your story and your journey, and I can't wait to continue that journey with you and be a part of your journey, as well as you guys as well, Balthasar and Chris. And yeah, I just want to thank all the people who have been watching this live session tonight, and for anyone who's watching after this goes out on YouTube, and anyone who's listening on the podcast platforms. Which, by the way, I only realized last week we're now on Google Podcasts.
Oh, really?
I had no idea. I think I must have put the link on the thing, and then I got like a notification saying, "Oh, your thing is now on Google Podcasts."
Oh, wow.
Okay, cool. So anyone on Google Podcast, subscribe and all that.
Hit me up.
Yeah, but yeah, that's it for us. That's it for episode 3, guys. Make sure to hit the subscribe button if you're on YouTube, and give us a follow on Spotify and Amazon, and now Google. And yeah, follow our journey. Come with us on this journey into the creative world and understanding who the creative individuals are within it, and stuff. It's going to be an exciting ride, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I look forward to this. I look forward to Sundays now. I really do for these episodes. Yeah, so yeah, thanks guys. Thank you everyone who's watching and listening, and thank you to all the podcast flames. Yeah, you're all amazing human beings. So thank you so much, guys. Peace out. Have a lovely rest of your evening, and yeah, catch you soon.
Bye.
Kelvin smashed that.